Folks. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Monday Night Grind. I put out a video over the weekend because I wanted to redo Mondays, and because while I've been gone, there really hasn't been anyone else in the space that is regularly doing a Monday stream, and I like to think that it is in somewhat out of respect to our community and what we kind of started here a few years ago. And whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. Monday is the slot. Monday's the thing. Let's start your week off right. And I asked you guys what you want to name it. I got a lot of suggestions, but Melvor was the one that took the cake. I saw he said call it Monday Night Grind or whatever day you're doing it on. It doesn't matter. Just keep it simple. And I thought it was catchy. It was simple. It calls back to the original names of the show. Doesn't overcomplicate things. So this is Monday Night Grind, and we're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff, Toy Fair, and anything else. Tonight is freeform. Despite the fact that I am here and we're talking about things, I do not want you to think that, this is the de facto format of this. I just decided, rather than wait, I'm going to strike while the iron's hot, and I'm just going to stake my claim. Here's the name. Here's roughly the time slot. I haven't decided if it's going to be 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. I do want to start a little bit earlier than I used to. And we'll see how that goes, too. Some folks are possibly going to want me to start, back at the 6 p.m. Eastern time slot. I don't know. But as long as I'm not doing a day job thing, I wanted to kind of mess with the flexibility of the show a little bit. And I want there to be consistency. So feedback, very welcome. Let's see here. So I'm going to catch up with you guys. I see Epic Badger, who was the first comment, says hello, right back to you. Bjorn, very close second with his usual. Giraffe says, let's go! Happy Monday, all. Happy Monday to you too, my friend. Jason Garcia says, sup, boys. He just left the line off the P. And, let's see. He's asking if we saw the Motu Thundercats. Yes, and I'll talk about that. BP059 says, Yum! Hello. Bjorn says, Melvor took the prize, nothing, for naming it, but still hasn't gotten his bags. Exactly. I think his prize will be still getting his bags. He's got just over 6 months to get over here and get them. So we'll see. We'll see. I doubt you can hear him, but Jasper is outside of the office and meowing because right now my office door is shut and our bedroom door is shut because Lauren and I celebrated her birthday with gusto, went to bed a little late, so Lauren's sleeping in a bit. So now he just shut out. He's like, what? What's going on? Where is everybody? So New York Toy Fair, they eased into the weekend with this on Friday and then going into Saturday, yesterday, and then more today. There were certainly some surprises, but there really wasn't a ton we hadn't already at least heard of, okay? I don't currently have pictures queued up of anything. If you guys really want me to do that, I can, but I just want to talk through some stuff and kind of give you my opinion on a few things. People that are behind the scenes already kind of know how I feel about stuff, and those of you that watch the show as it has existed over the years probably know how I'm going to feel about certain things. So let's start with what Jason Garcia said with the Motu Thundercats crossover. Slam dunk. You look at Super 7 and what they're doing with Thundercats is that they're overpricing their figures over and over again, and they're fragile as fuck. I don't recommend Super 7 for anything. I own a very few Super 7 products. One of which is a Motorhead Lemmy Kilmister, and he fell off of where he was and hit carpet, and his neck peg snapped off. Like, the only way to fix it would be to plastic weld it and hope that the peg actually meets. Otherwise, that head is stuck on there forever, unless by some chance I manage to get it right and I can pull the peg off, that sort of thing. So I went ahead and bought another one while I could. And he's just going to stay in the box until we move and figure out where he's going to go. Their Thundercats, they look good, but I don't trust Super 7's. I don't trust their quality control. So to see Mattel stepping up with this Thundercats crossover, that one thing that worried me was, okay, can we make these traditional Thundercats? And sure enough, everything on display you can make into a Thundercats character. The Mumm-Ra Skeletor figure can be a total Mumm-Ra. Lion-O can be Lion-O. Cheetara, Tigra, Panthro. They're all convertible into Thundercats. I'm super happy about that. So I'd kind of written off Thundercats as something I wanted to collect because I didn't like the LJN toys very much. Even as a kid, they were cool, but they were kind of chintzy. You could tell LJN didn't really have their heart in it. And the newer stuff has just been way too expensive, and I'm like, I'm not spending that much for that crap. So in the Motu Origins form factor, with that level of quality at a decent price point, I'm in on this. So I want the full set of Thundercats. I want the Mumm-Ra, and we'll see where the wave goes from there. There's not a ton beyond that I'd be like, I really have to have this. But it's nice to know that these things exist, and they're right out the gate. They know that people have been itching for an alternative to the other Thundercat stuff. So, it's a thing. So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm going to catch up with you guys. Manic Plastic Toy Shop says, hi. Hey! Right back at you. Bjorn says that Toy Fair was alright. Bit much with all the info. It was a bit of an overload. It's a trade show. It's not for us. Bjorn talking about some O-ring figures from Super 7 for Back to the Future and Universal Monsters. Looks good. Basically, I think this whole Reaction Plus thing is too little too late. They really squandered the market share they could have had by introducing something like this sooner. And it is what it is. Star Fox is here, says, oh shit, forgot I was under this other account, so I'll get a jam! Alright, buddy. Yes, Jason, the He-Man that has a Power Sword, Sword of Omens crossover is pretty cool. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the He-Man. I'm not getting anything that isn't a Thundercat. The Battle Cat's very tempting, and I might teeter on that one. But I will say for certain I'm getting everything else except for the He-Man. Because I just want Thundercats. All those other accessories are going to go into a box, and then that's that. Giraffe says he owns one Super 7 figure. Haven't released King Conan from the box yet, though. Hopefully that Arnie is made from cheap, cracktastic plastic. I will say this. As long as you protect him from force and impact damage, you're going to be fine. They pose pretty good. You might need a little bit of heat. The sculpts are great. Looks good. Super 7 is kind of the second coming of NECA in that regard. Okay? Not as bad as old NECA, but close enough, right? Squigs says, what's up? Not much. We're talking Toy Fair, brother. Yes. Yeah, my Napalm Death Scum figure, I have 2 of those. I should have 3. I haven't gotten the third one yet. Those are from Super 7 as well. Halsey Rules has a D. Snyder from Super 7, okay. And Bjorn actually has several Super 7 figures. Fair enough. You know me. I'm never going to tell you what to do and what not to do. I simply reflect, hey, this is my experience. And with Super 7, I ain't impressed that much. We were going to get a Cliff Burton figure from that Super 7 Ultimates line. And for a couple reasons, I've decided not to do that. Lemmy is enough. we have a deep connection to Lemmy as a couple. We're Motorhead fans. We like Lemmy the guy, so we have one. It's just like that's how I got Iron Sheik, because we really dug that documentary as a couple, and I loved that wrestler growing up. And then that has kind of morphed into, well, I might as well get some other wrestling stuff. So I'm kind of in the market for a wrestling ring that I can display properly, and a few other wrestling figures, and just a finite amount of people that I want to get. But with Toy Fair, it has really kind of made me go, oh, there's some stuff coming, right? So you have the Motu Thundercats crossover, definitely getting at least 4 or 5 figures out of that. Then you have, the loyal subjects are doing Mask. This is a very slippery slope, this Mask. It appears to be 1-to-1 in scale with the original toys. I think that's a huge check. They appear to operate in the same way as the old toys do, with some modifications to make them more robust. Check. They're asking you to put your own decals on, which is kind of meant to be, if you want to be a customizer, do what you want, you can. Check. I like that. Blast effects, updated articulation of the figures, check. So big improvements from the old line. And now we come to the price, which is like, I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off for those of you who don't know. The Loyal Subjects Mask toys, if you get the first wave of 4 vehicles, so that's Condor, Thunderhawk, Switchblade, and Rhino, it'll set you back $255 US total. That's a lot. That's an average of like $63, $64, $65 per vehicle, which is, it's a lot. And I was having a discussion with Robert's Infinite Realms over on Facebook, and I will never apologize for a shitty pricing model, but I simply like to figure out, like, where's that coming from? And I really believe it comes from 2 places. I think that this first wave, they're probably doing a lower run so that they're not stuck with product. So that means their per unit price is higher. And also they have a high licensing fee to Hasbro to pay. I'd be willing to bet. I think those are probably the 2 biggest factors. And I think that if we, as fans, and I'm like, again, I'm not one of these people that you buy it, they won't make it anymore. But I do feel like if the sale numbers are high for the first wave, they might order more for a second one, and maybe we'll see the average price go down. That's only a theory. It is not a directive. I'm hoping that we'll see the average cost per vehicle go down. I'm not real happy about it, but when you consider these are brand new in-box, updated 1-to-1 with all these things, it makes a lot of sense to buy that versus a vintage. You go for a vintage box, any of these, you're looking at least double, if not way more than double, what they're asking. So you got a way to go with the bad here, right? So I kind of feel like you either want these or you don't. And I do think that I want them, and I'll give them a shot. You know, what I really want is all the Series 1 vehicles, and then there's a couple cherry pick from the later series that I would like. And depending upon which way the price point goes, I might get more of them. I may not. It just depends. They hinted in several interviews that not only are they looking to do the originals and some unreleased stuff, but also some modern vehicles and kind of update things quite a bit. So I do feel like there's legs for that toy line to grow, and I think the price point's going to be really difficult for a lot of people to swallow. So we'll see. We will see. They go up for pre-order in July. First at Big Bad, and then 2 months later everywhere else. So hopefully they're going to make some money and hopefully lower some prices and all that fun stuff. Giraffe says, I am the opposite. I just want the Motu characters minus the creepy battle cat and the line and Shitara. Impossible to pass her up. You like that booty. That's fair enough. Bjorn asks, which wrestlers I'm looking for can help me out. Well, I appreciate that. I am looking in the basic Elite Ultimate line, just depending upon which character it is. I do want that Ultimate John Cena from this year. I really like how that looks. When it comes to older ones, I always like the green shirt, but I haven't looked into this enough yet. So I have a classic Undertaker, which I'm very happy with. I've got an Iron Sheik. I've got a CM Punk. I'm looking for a classic Hulk Hogan. I'm looking for Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior probably, and I will probably get an actual, classic looking Ultimate Warrior, and also the one with him in the suit, which he appeared with for the Hall of Fame. I think that's important. Maybe a Paul Bearer, because you got to have Paul Bearer with the Undertaker, right? There's another handful that I'm just not thinking of, probably off the top of my head. But that's where I'm looking, Just some classic wrestlers, just some people. Roddy Piper is a big one. So there's a few of these. Hey, Ozzy, we don't do spoilers around here, bubba. Some people maybe haven't watched that yet. But yes, I did watch that in the middle of the night. I think it's really interesting. It's good storyline for the year. We'll talk about it more as time goes on. World Made of Cardboard is homesick today. I hope you feel better soon. Able to catch this live. So, for you, John, and anyone else who's watching, I want to recap. We are going back to a weekly Monday show. The time is negotiable. I do think that 5 p.m. Eastern is going to be the thing. So an hour earlier than I used to do, to give some of our more adventurous UK people a chance to watch live. And also so that I'm not locked into the show for the whole early evening dinner hour kind of a thing. I had thought about doing 4 p.m. Eastern, an hour ago, but I think that might be too early for U.S. people that are still working. So I think 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern is probably the good time. So like right around now. I hope that works for people, and if not, we'll figure it out. And it is called Monday Night Grind. We're going to do it every week. It's going to take different forms. Tonight's just a free-form discussion about the Toy Fair and what we've been doing and everything else. And then moving forward, it's just meant to be that free-form kind of a thing. And there will be other streams at different points in the week that may not necessarily be scheduled when things come up or what have you, just to get more face time and whatnot, and give you guys what you would like to see. Hopefully, you would like to see more of me. Nolan is here. Says, hi, Jim and Chat. Hi, Nolan. Thanks, Bjorn. I appreciate you. And no worries, Ozzy. It happens. John says, cool. The time is okay. Good. He says, the NECA Jaws finally surfaced. Yes, as a revamped Jaws game from the late 70s. What I heard is that they wanted to make a scale shark, but just couldn't justify the pricing. So they wanted to make the best Bruce the Shark they could, make him as big as they could, and then, factored in the game stuff so that it could kind of justify not being in scale. I think it's cool. I have pre-ordered it, but I don't know if I'm actually going to mess with it. World Bank Cardboard's been watching the Transformers Toy Fair offerings. I haven't looked at those yet. We just talked about Mask. We talked about Motu and Thundercats. Let's talk about the Motu elephant in the room, the Fright Zone. I heard direct from Pixel Dan that Mattel did not intend to put out the Fright Zone pictures in the press release for Toy Fair. That's considered an unintentional leak. I personally think that it's a guerrilla marketing attempt to get people hyped up and get feedback ahead of time so that when they do release to the public, they have an idea of what people want, and so forth. Apparently, some people are complaining about the back end of that playset, and I don't know why. The original didn't have one, so now they have something in the back. It's nothing too extravagant, but it is nice. I don't see the problem. I think it's a great piece of kit, and I think that it's likely to see a fan channel release as opposed to crowdfunding or anything like that. I think that's smart. Exactly. Bjorn says that he thinks it's leaked on purpose. I agree. TJC in the house says, evening. Good to see me. It's been a while. It is good to see you too, my friend. And this weekend, I should not neglect to mention, is the next fundraiser on Universal Toy Collector's site. I'll be promoting that throughout the week. Please do not miss out on that. We got 24 hours to raise money for the kids, and I will be there. Faux show. Roman Carbo says the Transformer Cyberworld toys look like knockoffs. Cheap plastic, but a high dollar price tag. Ew, I don't like that. So I do think the Fright Zone, as is, you put that at a $90 price point or less, which I think is reasonable for that set. The way that those pictures present it, and you put it on Amazon and Big Bad and stuff. Store shelves would be nice, but I'm not pushing my luck here. You put it on Fan Channel, and I'm happy. It's supposed to be out in the fall from what information we can glean, so we don't know for certain exactly what's happening. And those pictures might be old. So we'll see. What else? McFarlane showed off some DC stuff. The superpower stuff he showed off wasn't new. He is doing in the same scale and style as the Batman 66. He's doing Super Friends stuff. So we're getting a 6-inch Lex from Legion of Doom, which is pretty cool. And in the interviews that I've seen, they aren't shying away from the fact that they know the license is going away middle of next year. They're not sure of the exact date when they can stop producing things, because although this doesn't necessarily come as a huge shock to them or surprise, it is something that it looks like things are in flux. And the representative was very reassuring in saying, we're not pumping the brakes at all. We're actually putting down the gas pedal. He says you're going to look for more from Superpowers, look for more from Multiverse. All these lines are going to get more between now and the end of that contract. We've got over a year of stuff from McFarlane, which is good. I like his stuff. Some of it I don't. But, of course, with Superpowers, I'm very stoked. And seeing a Legion of Doom Lex Luthor in the 66 line tells me we're a stone's throw from getting that character in Superpowers, which if that happens, that would be huge. Get all the Legion of Doom in like one wave, or like the big heavy hitters in one wave. I think would be really interesting. So we'll see. Jason Garcia says they haven't fully shown up, but there will be a Mega Bloks Godzilla. That sounds cool. I won't buy it. Roman Carver says the mask vehicles look great, but the price points are wrong. Evil wrong. Well, we talked about that a little bit earlier, and $255 for 4 vehicles at an average price of $65 is crazy. Until you compare them to the vintage cost. But I think you guys are going to think I'm weird, but here's the kicker. What I heard in various interviews is that it is not yet confirmed whether they'll be able to call these vehicles their original code names in marketing and on the packaging, for whatever reason. I have no idea what that reason could possibly be. However, if that comes to pass, and they have pledged to keep the artwork as close to the original artwork as possible, which I think is a good. All right, so if it gets to a point where they can call it by the right name, the artwork looks good in the box and everything, and I compare that to a vintage in-box price, it makes sense. And also, as I've said earlier, there's always a possibility that they're doing a very low production run on these because they're not sure how they're going to sell. And if they sell like crazy, they may have reissues, and or the next wave may have a higher production run, which would hopefully lower the prices along the way. So it's almost like they're taking all the risk but treating it like a Kickstarter in terms of price. I'm not saying that should be justified or that this is what they should be doing. I will say that I am going to buy those first 4 vehicles unless something really drastic happens and changes my mind. Because I really want them, and that is what it is. So we will see. We will see. Nolan following up also says the Mastiff was really good, most excited about the Scooby-Doo line. Ruh-roh. I'm kidding. Unrelated, THPS 3 and 4 remake coming. I don't even know what THPS is. Be careful with your acronyms, folks. Don't assume other people know what you're talking about. THPS, the Harry Potter series, the Hocus Pocus Sienna, terrorizing, hose, potentially sexy. Like, what is it? Tell me what it is. But everything I've seen generally looks pretty good. Playmates is kind of cooking. Oh yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So the rumor is that it's either a full new release of 3 and 4, or they're just making it DLC for the remake in the game. They're treating it like kind of like a software as a service kind of a thing. So digital only, and it's coming up. I hope that, personally, I hope it's DLC. Just because of the easier access point for us, and you can keep everything in one ecosystem and all that shit. But I hope so. Playmates has been cooking, folks. The Mutant module's coming back. The Foot Cruiser's coming back. This other vehicle that reminds me of the Sandcrawler from Star Wars is coming back after the event. Looks really good. And they have a sewer layer playset reissue coming, which looks great. It is confirmed to be 1-to-1 to the original, and it will work with this Technodrome or a vintage one. Very cool. Very cool. I'm really, really hoping against hope that, they keep their price points low and everything else. But Playmates, that's kind of their thing. They showed off some other figures that are looking pretty good. I think Playmates has got a pretty good grasp. Their Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stuff kind of scared us at first. The first thing they revealed was the flip heads, and I'm like, no one wants the goddamn flip heads. And they revealed their figures. Here's the thing. Their Power Rangers figures, the regular ones, are a 5.75 inch scale. Who the fuck asked for that? Why not just do 6 inch? Probably some kind of a term agreement with Hasbro. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But I am definitely getting a Green Ranger. I'm going to pose him. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to keep my Lightning collection, add a Green Ranger, and go to town. Now, if the price point on those Playmates Green Rangers or all the Power Rangers is really low, I am tempted to just get the whole set and put the Lightning collection away for a rainy day kind of a thing. I don't know yet. We don't know enough about those figures, but they look good. The Zords look really cool. I'm not a huge Mighty Morphin fan. I'm not. I just wanted to have them on the shelf because they were a part of my adolescence, and I occasionally watch the show, but I'm not a big fan. The only time I really went, okay, that's fucking cool, was when they did that more recent movie, which I thought was very cool. But for fans, I understand this is both good and bad news. I think it's the best possible news if you've been wanting to collect Power Rangers and haven't yet. This new Playmates version is where it's at, because their price points are going to be good. You can get a couple different things. And they're even talking about releasing Classics reissue of the OG toys. Not just the head flip, but the original kind of 7-inch deals that they had back in the day. They're re-releasing those. So the question becomes, which line do you want? Do you want the Zords? I think many people will probably be happy with the 5.75 inch scale versions of the action figures, with a nice set of Zords that combine into the Megazord. I don't see anyone being too upset about that. And for those that do like the head flippers, they're out there for whatever reason, right? But they're cool. They're really cool. And I still wish Hasbro would just put the damn Green Ranger out. They put the damn pre-orders out a year in advance and then just stalled. I wish they had just put him out, and I would have a lot less to complain about here. And I'm not going to hold Playmates responsible for Hasbro's misstep. I think they're doing a great job with what they've got. And, don't sleep on Playmates. They're cooking. That Turtles Classic line is looking really good. They're doing a lot of stuff. So if you're fans of those properties or any property they have, it's pretty fucking good. World Corbett says, while in college, I collected Transformers, Beast Wars, G.I. Joe, and Power Ranger Zords, so I have been interested in Megazords. Yeah, they have this one that is Voltron-esque in the sense that you get all the different Zords and it combines, and it's like a 13 to 16 inch tall big boy. And looking at the price of the Voltron they just released, the reissue they just released late last year at 110, I think the Zords, especially if they go gift box with it, we're talking probably 150 tops, which is very reasonable for what it is. And I'm on the fence about it. So I am not going to consciously go after it, but if the price is crazy, like if it's like $90, I'm like, you know what? I should get that because someone's going to like it. And maybe if I decide I've had enough of it, I can sell it off to somebody who would really enjoy it. I could do that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Classified had a couple good things coming out. It is very clear to me that they're starting to run out of things. Not run out of things to do. There's plenty of stuff left, especially when you think vehicles, right? But in terms of characters, they're kind of slowing down, which is fine with me. I knew we'd be seeing a Crystal Ball. There he was. And when you get to that point in the line, where you're taking all of the characters you've done so far and you're doing retro card releases of them, cartoon versions of them, and then you're getting into that weird in the weeds characters like Crystal Ball. It's like, okay, we've kind of reached the point where I'm cherry picking the cherry picks, and I'm not mad about it. I have plenty of classified stuff. I'm very happy with what I have. There's a couple things that are tempting, like the mech suits and the gliders and whatnot, but I don't feel compelled to get those. The only thing that they revealed that I'm like, I really want this, is the cartoon Snake Eyes with the polar bear. Partially because it does have that cartoon look, partially because it has some of that mass device stuff going on. But number one is because he comes with a 6-inch scale articulated polar bear, and a shaman once told me my spirit was a badger, but I kind of identify as a polar bear a bit more. And I've always kind of had that as my side persona, if you will. I'm not a furry or anything, but if I were an animal, it would probably be a polar bear, I think, because I like it cold, and I'm a lounger, right? So I do want that set because I think having the polar bear would just be fun. It's probably going to be one of the best price points for getting a 6-inch scale polar bear you're going to see. Giraffe says, running out of time for them to deliver us a U.S. classified USS Flag. I don't think that'll happen, but if it does, it'll be a HasLab, and it'll probably be the last HasLab. Unless they say, we're doing this, and if this does well, we'll do Defiant. Can you imagine how big a classified Defiant would be? It would be like a $3,000 toy. Oh, Jeff, you shut your damn mouth. Kidding. I am not a furry. I am not. I'm a fuzzy. I'm kidding. It's good to see you, though, brother. Good to see you. Hope things are well in your world. I know that you've had an eventful year this year so far, so I hope things are settling and you're enjoying things as best you can. I mean, I'm glossing over and skipping some stuff because, again, I did not mean for this to be some comprehensive. Here's all the pictures. You've seen this stuff you're interested in by now. I just want to talk about it. And, yeah. Well, the shaman was who told me I was a badger, and I kind of get it. But that was also almost 30 years ago. And as far as a polar bear, that also came a long time ago, and it's kind of a private joke, and I've kind of latched onto it. And as far as grumpy bear, yeah, I'm that too. I can be many things. I'm a multifaceted individual, sir. Jason Garcia says, $5,000 for a car-sized flag. I would not be surprised at all. Jeff says, are you going to attack me in a giant polar bear costume if I don't? 1 week without something shitty happening would be nice, in all honesty. I will not attack you in a giant polar bear costume under any circumstances because, one, I don't have a giant polar bear costume, and two, I have no desire to attack you, my friend. I just don't. So I really don't think we're going to see a classified flag. But I also said I didn't think Eternia was ever going to be a thing. We got that from Mattel. But Hasbro, with them backing away from toys so much that they're licensing out stuff instead of just doing it themselves, it gives me a lot less faith in the future of the line. I think that the product teams are probably swinging for the fences at this point, see the writing on the wall. It's a thing. Jeff, I would get a Godzilla outfit before I got a polar bear costume. That's for sure. I've even joked about it. Like just getting, like the onesie style pajamas, but really kitted out to have like a decent tail and everything, and like the smoke machine in the head and all that crap. Just for funsies. I've seen I forget what attraction it is at Universal, but they have someone in a velociraptor suit, and it's all, I'm like, I want one of those. Not because I have some like affinity for like living in the skin of a velociraptor. I just want to scare motherfuckers. Like I would love to just run around a neighborhood like, yeah! It would just be fun to scare people. I am not. I have my kinks, and none of those are it. You're way off base. Bleh. Way off base. I know I'm glossing over a lot of other stuff just because I'm not thinking of it. So if there was something that you heard of or saw or are curious about that maybe you didn't see and you wanted to know, because I've looked at everything quite a bit, and we can pull stuff up if you want me to. Please let me know in chat if there is something you want to talk about that I haven't yet, or you want me to go into more detail. That's what I'm here to do. Help spark a conversation, right? So I do feel like it'll be a good year for toys, generally speaking. But with the landscape changing, with who's got what, with Mattel acquiring DC and stuff, I think it's going to be interesting to see who swings for what fence. Yes, and I have seen that, and it's something that I will eventually print myself. I'll eventually print one for myself with the USS flag. Mask. I did talk about it earlier, but I'll put it this way. If it is 1-to-1, with the improvements that they've made, I think it should be pretty successful. Its Achilles heel is definitely the price point. It's an average of $65 per vehicle when you lump all the prices together for a total of $250, $260, depending upon where you are. And that's crazy. The only comparison would be to the vintage. If you look at vintage boxed examples of these toys and what those cost, then it's like, well, this now becomes by comparison a reasonable price, quote, heavily in quotes. My theory is that it's a combination of licensing fees and probable low production run for this initial wave that is driving the price point as high as it is. I'm hoping against hope that this first wave is successful enough that they lower price points on average for future releases, but we'll see. That said, I'm gonna dip my toe. I'm gonna buy the first wave and see what happens. But as a hostile witness, so to speak. Do I collect Transformers? Ilmatic Prime asks. Yes. Right there, all my Voyager class Transformers. So you've got a bunch of stuff there. A lot of Studio 86 stuff in there. Some Earthrise stuff, whatever. And then you can't see, it's just out of frame. All my core class are all at the feet of a knockoff Unicron. I like me some Transformers quite a bit. But I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy in the Transformers the way I am with some other lines. I have specific ones I want, and I'm getting very close to the end of that, and I'll be happy. Giraffe says, Stan Sakai, Usagi Yojimbo for Ninja Turtle things. Yeah, I saw those, and those look very cool. I think those are the NECA are doing those. Like the comic version of those figures. And it's interesting. They're not for me, but they look cool. No one says, looking for the Mezco Biker Gomez, but I have a feeling he'll be almost impossible to get. Fair enough. Jeff says, that's a no-go. The price is going to kill it before it even comes out, but you can find most of that unboxed for around the same price, save for the Thunderhawk. Yes. But if I'm spending that kind of money, I want the box. And what I said earlier in the show was, for me, one of the crux of this is if they do get the ability to call these vehicles by their original code names, which apparently is in a state of flux, which I can't figure out why they wouldn't get clearance for that. Because these boxes, they're charging what they're charging, and they're in the box where the artwork almost is a perfect one-to-one, but then the code name is some other stupid name. I really feel like it's going to kill it. So, and again, this is just my thing. I understand a lot of people are going to hate that price. But here's the thing. I've been collecting now for just shy of 4 years. And I've seen a lot of people complain about price points and then buy shit anyway. Happens all the time. I am also guilty of this. So I'm never going to sit there and complain and then act like I don't want something when in fact I do. So do I think they should be at least 30% less? Fucking A, I think they should be at least 30% less. But they're not. So then I have to ask myself, do I want it or not? I do. And I'm going to pay it. And that's just it. It is what it is. Ilmatic asks if I have a favorite Transformers character. Yes, Unicron. By far, Unicron. Nolan says Grimlock's the best Transformer. He's in that top 10 for sure. Love Grimlock. Keith Knight says, evening. Sorry, I'm like, I announced the stream barely 10 minutes before it went live. You're good. You're good. And we're still talking about what time it would start. So, and right now the consensus is that it'll start each week a half hour ago. Whatever that is your time. So, no worries, Keith, mate. No worries, my brother. Jeff says, has something to do with the license agreement and lease agreement. Yeah, so the Switchblade's great. And just to have one that doesn't fall apart in your hands would be awesome too, right? And if you look at each individual item, most of those prices aren't horrible. The Rhino really is a kick in the nuts. The Condor is just a little bit too expensive. The Thunderhawk, I kind of get it. And once we get beyond that is where it starts to get really weird to me. Better Ray Bob, welcome, says, I wonder why Loyal Subject updated the mask figure's shoulder and hip articulation but didn't give the figure's elbows. Question, are elbows too expensive? They probably figured or assumed that no one would care. And I think they did the wing thing so you could hold the mask like this. The helmet, you know? I don't know. I would have liked to have seen elbow articulation as well, but I also question what possible long-term use that would have on that size figure. But it's a good question. I think it's a very good question. And if it's a choice between elbow articulation and the kind of wing thing going on, I pick the wing thing because it makes more sense for what I would do with those characters. But that's me. I think both would be better, but who the hell knows? Roman Carber loves 6-shot and quick switch. Roman Carber says, next week, an hour and a half ago of time travel. Yeah. Just as the figures don't have any accessories save for the helmet, so the shoulders do that for that very reason. Exactly. I think that's really what it comes down to. But we'll see. Maybe there's always a possibility that if the line is successful, that they'll do individual repacks of the figures with updated articulation, and that would be fine. And yes, you do hear it, kitty kitty. Jasper is out there stuck between two worlds. The bedroom door is shut, the office door is shut, no one's out there, and he's like, there's no one here to love me. And I get it, though. He's got a bit of separation anxiety. And when he can hear me talking, he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, he's a special boy. Special boy. So, yeah, that's my definitive talk on the whole mask thing. The Motu stuff that they showed, a lot of the cartoon collection stuff, as I had predicted, the cartoon collection stuff leaning into She-Ra this year. And if you look at those, the sculpts, although they are Filmation accurate, like Bo, for example, kind of leans a little more into the Motu kind of look and blends it really well with Filmation. So they're kind of like, these are your Origins de facto She-Ra characters. And I'm mad about it. That Orko's Uncle Orko combo figure, I think, is brilliant. Even though I have the Origins Orko, in fact, I have 2 Origins Orkos because I just worry I'll break him. I will probably get 2 of the cartoon ones too, because I think the cartoon one's even better. What else? So you have Bo, you've got the what's her face? The Shadow Weaver looks awesome. I'm really excited to get her. They've got some good figures coming out, but it's not a ton of stuff they've announced. I think they probably have a big dump of characters to reveal later in the cycle, and I'm looking forward to that. But it also seems to hearken, at least to me, that with all this thing they've announced with Club Grayskull, which is a $10 a year, 83 cents a month, $10 a year membership, that they are indeed putting the vintage Origin stuff onto Mattel Creations more or less exclusively at this point, which is fine. I just want to know more about it. And they have put out this hint of a character that's prehistoric and very powerful. Basically, that tells me it's either Hero or a King Grayskull variant. And either way, I'm in for it. I'm ready to go. I'm not a big fan of membership fees with exclusivity on anything. But at the same time, I have a Costco membership. You know, I pay for memberships to like things like Instacart, stuff like that. So for $10 a year, I think it's worth it for the curiosity. I just want to see what they're doing. And if after that first year, I'm not happy with what I got, I won't renew. But I'll gladly give up 83 cents a month just to see what they've got cooking with my own eyes. That's all. I think it's cool. I think it would be nice. Giraffe says, if Loyal Subjects was given the G.I. Joe license and did G.I. Joe figures the same as their mask ones, would I be in? Including Joe vehicles. I'll put it this way. I don't want them making mask scale G.I. Joe. But G.I. Joe scale mask would be even cooler. I don't think they're going to do that. But if they suddenly, like them or Jazzwares, for example, suddenly started doing G.I. Joe vehicles, I will say this. If it was Jazzwares, I'd be totally into it. because I know their price points are going to be reasonable. With loyal subjects, typically their price points have been very reasonable. And this is just a bit of a surprise as to how expensive these are. So I think G.I. Joe vehicles would be even worse in terms of that. So would I be into it? Probably. But I can't say with any definitive certainty until I'd see the price. Because Joe is not that hard to get. Jeff has a Costco membership so you can buy hot dogs. You know what? It's not a bad idea. Bjorn has never been inside of a Costco. Not everyone can experience all these great things. But you should give it a try. Costco's good stuff. I enjoy it. Goldetron says, better late than never. Hello. Hey, you're not late. You arrive exactly when you mean to. And I gave notice for this show 10 minutes before it went live. So the fact that there's as many of you that are here now, and it is kind of that a lot of you are the core crew that used to always watch us every Mondays with no notice, that's awesome. So for those that have just joined, or maybe someone who didn't hear, Monday Night Grind is going to be going every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern, which is an hour earlier than we used to go. I want to give people across the pond a bit of a chance to watch if they're up late, and those that already were watching, maybe give them a chance to watch and not have to fall asleep before the show's over. It's an experiment. We're going to keep doing it. There will be other live streams. There will be other videos. I just got tired of not having structure with this. And so we're just going back to basics. Mulver gave me a great name. Here we are. Roman Corbett says Jazzwares would do well with 4-inch Joe. I agree. I think they do great. Jazzwares is awesome. Better Ray Bob says, sorry if this has already been covered, but did I see the Universal Monster O-Ring figures from Super 7? Yes. And here's my thing. I think those look great. They look great. Super 7 in general, I don't like their quality. I think their price points are a joke. And I think this whole Reaction Plus thing is too little too late. 5 years ago, I saw my first Reaction figure ever. I'd never seen one before. Well, this is cool. But I knew what it was. It's a gimmick. It's a display piece you wouldn't take out of it. Like there's no vehicles to play with. There's no. It's just what if? Here, pay $15 to $20 for this. And now they're doing a similar thing. If these were even $15 or $10, $12, I think would be a really reasonable price point. It's just too much fucking money. I'm not paying $20 a pop for these things. I'm just not. I think it's stupid. I did indeed discuss many Toy Fair reveals, and at this point, I'm just asking people, hey, call it out if you haven't heard me talk about it and you want to hear what my opinion is. And I don't mind repeating myself. It's, people have been coming in and out. That's normal. It's okay. So whatever you want to talk about. But I've talked about Loyal Subjects Mask. I've talked about Transformers a little bit just because I haven't seen the reveals on that. Marvel Legends I haven't talked about. Seeing the ROM figure was cool. I'm really happy about that. There's some cool things coming up with that. But the overall toy line, the toy releases that are coming for a lot of the established things that I collect were, as expected, kind of lean. And I'm not mad about that. That means that newer lines like Mask, which I'm very interested in, it will feel like less of a stab in my wallet because I will have more money to allocate to that. So, we'll see. Bjorn says, what are my thoughts on the Hot Wheels Transformers crossover? Too expensive, and I don't care. That's it. Worldman Cobra says, back in my day, O-Ring G.I. Joe was $2.99 each and get off my lawn. I agree. I was the same way. Back in my day, it was the same thing. We're never going to get that back. We're not going to get that back 5 years ago. We're not going to get it now. And with the way the economy's going, I'm sorry to mention it, we're not going to get it anytime soon, if ever. So I've given up on that. But $20 for an O-Ring figure, I just want to take whoever runs Super 7, and I forget his name, I don't want to say it either. I just want to just shake him by the lapels and be like, the fuck is wrong with you? Robert's Infinite Realm is here. What's up? A very good example of what happens when someone's on their porch and they yell at the clouds. And I don't mean that with any malice. I love Rob to death. I'm good for complaining about things when I think they're complaints, but I'm also very, very good about saying, yeah, I hate this price point, but I'm going to buy it. You know, and I understand the vote with your wallet thing. It's like, you know what, man? I got one go around, and I'm not going to fight the good fight when it comes to toys. I'm just not. I'm going to buy what I want, and I have every right to complain about the price even after I've bought it. And you can't dispute that. You can't. You know, sorry, that's just a whole thing for me. Turning Eclipse Welcome says, am I going to be in on the McFarlane Super Friends Sentient scale? A couple of them. So I do have some old Mattel Classic stuff that's 6-inch scale. And that Lex Luthor is an easy sell for me. I will say that if they were to make more of that Legion of Doom-esque stuff in superpowers, I'd be less likely to get the 6-inch. So we'll see, right? Godytron says, Motu Thundercats and TMNT Classics figures, vehicles, and place that look like. Yes, we've mentioned all those. I am basically in on almost all the Ninja Turtle reissue stuff. Foot Cruiser, awesome. Sewer playset, awesome. A lot of the new figures they revealed, awesome. I'm very happy with these. Those new articulated turtles, they got like the Rocksteady and the new Shredder that are coming out. Oh, so stoked for those. I think those will be great. So I'm all in on that. The Motu Thundercats, all in on that. Probably won't get the Battle Cat, but I might. Definitely won't get the He-Man. But I want all those Thundercats and all their extra parts that are like unique to the crossover. They're getting chucked into a bin. And that's that. So I want me some Thundercats, damn it. Says, hey, at least you beat the price point. Yeah, I this is the thing. Life has taught me a lot of different lessons in my lifetime. And one of them is when it comes to buying something, if you don't like the price, you have to decide if it's worth paying extra, you know, over what you're willing to pay to have what you want and still be unhappy with the price, or is it just so expensive that you don't want it? Sometimes one or the other is true, or both. You know, like, not both, but, you know, and that's a personal decision to make. You know, for example, I love Five Guys cheeseburgers. I love the food they have. I love their fries, even though they make me explode the toilet every time. But their prices have gone up pretty significantly in recent years. And I'm not paying $20 per person to eat fast food, even though they're one of the more fresh fast foods out there. I just won't do it. I have other places I'll go because it's insane. If I take the same $20 and buy the ingredients, I can make myself like 5 or 6 insanely good burgers, right? But when it comes to consumer goods like toys, physical media, stuff like that, typically speaking, I'm buying something once or twice. Or, you know, if I'm buying multiples of like a troop builder or something, that's one thing. But it kind of comes down to, if it's a one-time purchase or like it's going to sit on the shelf, it's easier for me to justify paying more than I want to if it's something I genuinely desire, right? Like if that Playmates Voltron reissue was 2 hours, or 2 hours, $200, I would probably still have bought it. I would have hated the price and complained all the time, but I still would have bought it. But at 110, no brainer, of course. Yeah. And I've just learned some companies are going to charge you a reasonable price, some aren't. And you just have to make that decision at that point. The Super Friends 6-inch or the Batman 66 quote 6-inch, they are meant to be displayed with those. They're basically a parallel, like, sister line to that. They've confirmed that in multiple interviews. So it's confirmed that's exactly what's happening. Just Jeff's looking forward to the Turtle Lair re-release. Might go with the Ghostbuster scheme to figure out how to combine the two and make a sweet display. A lot of options there. They look good together. Bjorn says the Creature from Black Lagoon figure is a must get even at that price. That's fair. Exactly. You have to make that decision for yourself. If the card back for those Reaction Plus Universal Monster figures were like the Remco card back, I would probably be singing a different tune. And I know that's a weird thing to say out loud. For sure. Just says we live near Fort Worth, go to In-N-Out. Not a fan. Not my thing. And Whataburger is crap. Whataburger is what a ripoff. Horrible. Everything's dry. And sometime in the last 12 or 15 years, Burger King decided to just suck all the moisture out of their stuff too. I used to like it. Nah, I'm more of a Jack in the Box guy these days. And even then, it's not... I try to avoid that stuff now. But yeah, fuck In-N-Out. I'm from the East Coast. We didn't have too many fancy burger joints. So it's just weird for me in general that there's all this burger war crap. You know? Ormy Corbin says, I can't afford many new toys now. Like you concentrating on Punch-Out books and toys. I love it. Exactly. You gotta buy the stuff you want. You know, my discretionary budget for just random crap is gone. I get the stuff I really want, and that's that. And at Voltron at 200, you would have passed. And I get that. I understand that. And I think that would have been a reasonable choice to make. But as the guy who has a picture of him getting the vehicle Voltron as a child right next to his desk, Voltron's pretty special to me, you know. And my Unicron, my knockoff Unicron for $300, don't even care. Like, give me it all day. You know, and I paid aftermarket prices on Eternia. It's just like everyone has different priorities with their collections and their lifestyle and what have you. You know, I go back to this quote that Gabriel Iglesias made in one of his very early specials. He says, I drink Diet Coke so I can eat regular cake. You know, like, I'll eat ramen if it means I'm going to get a Unicron or something. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what I have to do to get the things that I want that'll, like, stand the test of time kind of a thing. But I still reserve the right to complain about any fucking thing I want to. Like, it is 100% viable and reasonable and feasible to pay the price someone is asking for something and still find that price to be abhorrent. And I realize that when you pay the price that they're doing and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So to me, it's like, do I care enough about their pricing model and how it affects everyone else that me not paying that can somehow affect their lower price than this? No. I don't have any delusions that my purchasing choices affect the larger thing. And they're going to make the pricing choices they're going to make, and people are going to buy what they want to buy. So that's my philosophy. Buy what you like, speak truth to power, speak truth to bullshit, and you can still get the stuff you want. That is my philosophy on that stuff. Bum, 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 bum. Trading Eclipse saying to Giraffe, yes, I hear you and hope to see more Super Friends-like figures as well. Wish Todd was doing that with the Superpowers line. Who knows what we'll be seeing as now he's lots of license. I think it's a good possibility that we're going to see some swinging for the fences stuff coming up. I really hope he has time to do that. I don't think we have a Mattel store here. I really have not heard of that. I would have heard about it by now. And Burger Wars. And Roman Cardboard, who's a Texas native, says Whataburger's definitely crap. There you go. Giraffe says this country was founded on Burger Wars. How dare I? How dare I? You know, Chinese food, I'll go to blows over, though. I love Chinese food. Giraffe says, every year, people flee countries to the land of hope and ultimate cheeseburgers. Bum, 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 America. Everyone's got a burger they like, right? And this is going to sound cheesy, no pun intended. But the hamburger that I want most, I can't possibly get. And it's one that my mother and father prepared on the grill. Mom would prep the meat, Dad would grill everything, and she would, chop all the condiments, and that's that. I can't get that. I don't know how they did it. And I know that's, bringing the chat down a little bit, right? But even though I do enjoy McDonald's, like the flavor, but it totally fucks me over digestively later. And I like Red Robin quite a bit. And like I said, I enjoy Five Guys a lot. The price is insane, right? But I'm not going to waste my time arguing about burgers. You get what you want. It's the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Warburg was from Louisiana, but has lived here for 25 years. Fair enough. Melvor in the house talking about the Whataburger patty melt. You would. And I'm not criticizing your choice. I just don't like Whataburger. I've never liked it. And apparently, I have a Mattel Distribution Center store in Fort Worth. I did not know that. I legitimately didn't know. That's crazy. Been here almost 6 years. Learn something new every day. I'll have to check it out. Bjorn likes a good bacon cheeseburger, although the 4 cheeseburger from Brahms is good. There you go. Everyone has a burger they like. You know what I mean? It's fine. It's whatever. I look, if I could eat Chinese food every single day, I would. And the only thing stopping me from eating Chinese every day, aside from obviously that cost adds up, but my wife, she likes Chinese a lot, but not that much. And so I told her, maybe for Christmas this year, get me a wok so I can just cook my own shit. And I would love to do that. You like Sonic, but it doesn't like you back. Stomach does not forgive me. It's too squishy. Like, the flavor is good, but everything's too squishy. I think I prefer Jack in the Box because it has a similar flavor. And for lack of a better word, it's a bit more firm. Less like I'm just going in my mouth. So, did not expect to be here talking cheeseburger. That's funny to me. Mulwer says, let's go raid that Mattel Distribution Center. Mission Impossible style. I didn't know about that either. Dude, seriously, text me sometime and let's figure out a time to go there. If we can film too. Whether or not we film, I don't care. We should go. I've only got so many months to hang out with you, man. And I would love to go there. Lauren misses you. Let's fucking go to Mattel, dude. What is my go-to Chinese takeout order? If money's no object, I would get General Tso's chicken. I would get fried rice without egg. I would get some teriyaki chicken on a stick, or cho-cho chicken as it sometimes is called. I love vegetable lo mein quite a bit. Solid egg roll is up there. Wonton soup, and all that stuff. Love Chinese. Thoughts on the Playmates Power Rangers. Talked about this a bit earlier. Short version. 5.75-inch scale on their mainline figures I think is a mistake, but might be a Hasbro requirement that they don't have a direct 6-inch line. The head flipping ones, look, if you're nostalgic for it, that's great, but I think it was stupid to reveal those first. The Zords look awesome, and if they do a gift pack of all the Zords that combine into the Megazord, I might get that just because it's cool. And the reissue of the classic toys that are around 7 inches tall, I think, is bold. I don't know. Uh, it all comes down to the price point. If the price point is similar to what they're doing with the Ninja Turtle Classic stuff, as far as the 5.75-inch Power Rangers, I might get the whole line and just take all my Lightning Collection stuff and put it in the closet. Just because I can get a Green Ranger. But we'll see. We will see. Bum, 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 bum. Why is an Oklahoma person telling me we're our I'm not a Texan. I'm from Pittsburgh, for fuck's sake. I've only lived here in Texas since 2018, and I wasn't a toy collector until 2021. And I thought that the people around me would have known. So if you're going to yell at anybody, you can yell over at Melvor. He's from here. So, meh. I don't give a fuck about Oklahoma. Oklahoma's great, but I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't even believe in nationalism, let alone state pride. I think state pride is stupid. Especially if you're from, like, Alabama. All right. When we get a date and a time, I will certainly include you, my friend. I also say, pff, Jeff, I might even bring the comment up, pff, right back at you. But I love you. You're a good man. I'm glad to see you here. Give it a whirl. All right. So, I think the Toy Fair's been pretty good. Jeff says, it's not like Melvor doesn't have a game where Toy Channel involves him chasing them down or anything. Exactly. I agree. 100%. But the thing you got to remember about Melvor is the guy sleeps a lot. And yes, Toy Base 10 is his favorite toy store, and I'll give Oklahoma that too. I need to go up there and check out Toy Base 10. I got to haggle with him once. I have to. I must. Before we leave, I have to do that. Now, when we move, it's not like we're never coming back here. I want to be very clear about that. We have a lot of friends down here, and there are events here that we want to be around for, possible future productions we want to be a part of. So Texas has not seen the last of us when we do move. So definitely a thing to consider. Though, what's going on here? Is that... Oh, my caps lock's on. Didn't know that. But that's Toy Fair, at least for me. Sure, yeah, absolutely. And I bet I could drag Melvor along for that too. So we could all meet up at Toy Base 10, make some content, buy some toys, get some food, whatever, man. Like, I'm in, like Flynn, for sure. So, absolutely. 100%, because it's just something, seeing the boys go through that, especially Alpha and his whole thing with him, that'd be cool. Be a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here in a few short minutes. Any last minute questions or concerns, let me know now. But it's been a great time being here. It's something I want to continue doing. As I said, it's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time moving forward every Monday for now. And from there, we'll see what becomes of this. Robert says, Toy Fair was a real dud. I disagree. I think that there was more good than bad, but there's a lot of things that people are keeping close to the chest with what's coming. You know, I don't think that the New York Toy Fair showed us everything these companies have to offer. I think the big news was in press releases more so than what we saw at the thing. But that's me. So, I thank every one of you for showing up, whether you're in the chat right now or not. If you're all catching the replay, thank you. That's what drives views. That's what drives a lot of channel traffic. We've gone up a significant number of subscribers in the last week, thanks to Mega J Retro and his community, and you guys getting the word out with, you know, extra streams and whatnot. And I appreciate that. It's a big deal to me. For as low in the algorithm as I clearly am, to see us even a small spike of subscribers is just awesome. So Channel growth is nice. I'm not after it. If it happens, that would be great. But we're going to keep doing what we've been doing for all these years. And now you can expect it at least every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over here at Monday Night Grind. Don't be surprised if you see me between now and next Monday, but you'll definitely see me next Monday. Take care of yourselves. Love you very much. And like I said, we'll see you again soon. Have a great day and a great week. And your card backs and price reasonable, all that shit. Love you.